This is modded Minecraft 14 years ago, but now? How did we get here? Well, to find out, I'm gonna explore early modding, how developers managed to make money, and how Minecraft tries everything in their power to stop them. As usual, our story begins in 2009 when Notch outright banned Minecraft mods, more specifically distributing modified versions of the game. See, back then, mods could only be made by modifying the game's code directly. That meant if you wanted to share your mod, you'd be committing software piracy, which is why it makes sense that the first popular Minecraft mod was a... Sorry, I know I'm evil. Before I get to that, I'd like to thank OperaGX for sponsoring this video. If you don't already know, OperaGX is a browser specifically made for people who play a lot of video games, or in other words, gamers. You may already know OperaGX for its RAM and CPU limiters so that your browser doesn't ruin your game's performance. But it also has an active modding community which has produced several gems like this. My own little personal Minecraft aquarium. But that's not all. I can also mix and match aspects of the different mods to create something totally unique. OperaGX also more recently added built-in ChatGPT to the sidebar, which has been super helpful for coming up with visuals while I was editing this video. If switching browsers sounds like too much work, don't worry. OperaGX lets you import all your bookmarks and everything from every other major browser. So if you want your browsing experience to be less boring, use my link to download OperaGX today. As I was saying, the first popular Minecraft mod was a hacked client. Introducing World of Minecraft, allowing you to fly, walk through walls, and move 5 times faster. Modding was still illegal, so the only people who installed mods were cheaters who just didn't care. There were some attempts to distribute mods as code to copy-paste yourself, but that caused other problems. It was difficult, some mods would modify the same line of code, and it led people to accidentally corrupt their game. The modding space was kind of a mess at this point, but everything was about to change when a player named Risugami released something called ModLoader. ModLoader was pretty revolutionary. It worked a bit like Minecraft Forge, but notably worse. Suddenly, ordinary players could not only play mods, but multiple of them at once. You may remember me mentioning it in a previous video since it was used by the creator of the Aether. But ModLoader wasn't the only innovation around this time. Back then, mod developers still had to decipher code that looked like this. No, that would be awful, wouldn't it? No, it looked like this. It's called obfuscation, and it's a method developers use to protect their work. To get around this problem, a tool would be released that would change modding forever. A tool that's still in use today. Mod Coder Pack. Dude, these names are so fucking boring. You may not have heard of it, but for a long time, every mod used Mod Coder Pack. It automated the process of deciphering or de-obfuscating Minecraft's code. As a result, modding was more accessible than ever. In the background during all of this, Notch was working on his biggest update yet, the Halloween update of 2010. And if you know Minecraft history, you know this is when he added the Nether. As a little known side effect, however, this update broke every mod. At the time, this was a massive issue. Modding was definitely impacted. Today, however, it's even worse. Nearly every update now breaks mods that worked just one version before. Modders are under more stress now than ever. But okay, back to 2011. Modding did eventually recover. With the release of mods like World Edit, Too Many Items, later replaced by Not Enough Items, Just Enough Items, roughly, you get my point. But amidst these classics, one mod was different. Arguably the most popular mod of all time and the first ever to monetize. This mod was Optifine. Optifine is a performance-enhancing mod which implemented cosmetics years before anyone else. Paying $10 unlocked a special cape, and I estimate they've sold at least 20,000. If you've ever used Optifine, you've definitely seen them around. Besides that, they also have annoying ads every time you go to download it. They're super intrusive, so I imagine they pay a lot. There is a reason, however, that no one else managed to monetize before Optifine. The Mojang EULA. At this point, the EULA explicitly banned charging money for your mods, like straight up. Optifine had to use weird workarounds to even be allowed to exist. Since it was such a process to make even a few bucks, most mod authors didn't bother. And let me take a second to say, mod authors should be able to make money. Server plugin authors have been allowed to for years.
Wait, you're getting paid?
Yeah?
Isn't this like ruining the plugin ecosystem?
Not at all.
Respectfully, all you do is code. I make art, I model, I do all kinds of stuff. How are you the one getting paid?
Beats me.
I can write that joke because I code plugins. Mod developers put real time into their code, and it's pretty messed up that they aren't allowed to profit from it. Despite the restrictions, people's love for the game kept the modding scene alive. Tons of mods released over the next several years. The main reason mods like these could succeed, though, was the centralized database of pretty much every mod ever made. The site known as CurseForge. CurseForge lets people find and download mods in just a few clicks. And also, this is big, lets developers collect money from ads. All things considered, it was a huge win. But how much money exactly? Uh-oh. Curse Forge revenue is atrocious. As far as I can tell, the rate seems to be about $20 per 100,000 downloads. That means each download is worth 2/10,000ths of a cent. The only situation in which this would be worthwhile is if you're making Minecraft mods from a third world country where that money goes further. Name one mod author from Uzbekistan. And even then, like, there are so many better ways to make money. I should clarify that I have nothing against people from Uzbekistan, but my point is, if a mod author wants to create mods full-time, they quite literally can't. Except for one kind of modder. YouTubers.
Hey, I'm Rat.
Yeah, so I brought Dr. Rat to talk about different monetization methods of mods, and also to illustrate how none of them work.
None of them work? Nah, come on now, it's not that bad, is it? Is it? You may know me as Dr. Rat or from the very silly Minecraft mods I've made for videos over the years. But truth is, I've only managed to turn this into a living through YouTube only fairly recently compared to the rest of my modding shenanigans. See, just like every passion job, before I managed to turn this into a living, modding used to be a hobby, and while nowadays I make a fair pay through YouTube ads and sponsors in my videos, most Minecraft modders don't have my notoriety or just aren't interested in the whole video business, and as a result, have very limited sources of revenue. Since the dawn of Minecraft modding, the first and most common source of revenue for modders is probably the same as everyone trying to get a few dollars on the internet. Ads. Back in the day, the most common method for those were to host your mod downloads on your own website and run ads on it, so that every time you'd get a visitor interested in your work, they'd see these ads and you'd get your sweet corporate pocket change in exchange. But if you didn't wish to hassle with making and hosting a website, another very common practice would be URL shorteners. When clicked, these would force you to stay on the page, displaying a cascade of ads before redirecting you to the download. In exchange, whoever made the shortened URL, in this case the modder, would get a small amount of revenue every time that link was clicked and viewed. I still remember those old, terrible, then probably unsafe ad flight links to that sweet Mediafire mod jar file download like if it was yesterday. But thankfully, these have seen less and less use over the years. Nowadays, the most common method is now through mod hosting websites. With the coming of CurseForge and very recently Modrinth, ad revenue sharing programs have gotten very popular, and understandably so. On those platforms, anyone can now post their mods and get an ad revenue share depending on the amount of downloads. You can think of it as similar to YouTube, with the difference that it barely pays. At the peak of my modding popularity, with around 20 million downloads on my mods, I'd make around $400 every 2 months. And given Modrinth is even less popular than CurseForge at the time of this video, revenue there is barely even worth mentioning. But hey, at least you can receive your Modrinth earnings as Bass Pro Shops coupons. The second most common way for others to monetize their mods, especially today, is through monetary support-based platforms like Patreon or Ko-Fi. And given these platforms heavily encourage offering rewards in exchange of support, naturally, mods are no different and have a few ways to go about it. A few of these being commonly in-game rewards, often cosmetics, early mod releases, or private mods altogether. This monetization method tends to be a bit more reliable than ads, and when I started YouTube, was a pillar for being able to turn this into a living while allowing me to offer the half-baked, botched, buggy mods I'd make for videos and wouldn't release otherwise in exchange. But still, this method requires at least some amount of popularity, which not every modder has. As a result, the third, final, and often last attempt for modders to pay the bills with their skills are commissions, meaning making mods for people, or very often YouTubers, in exchange for money. And while it sounds great on paper, this is probably the worst source of all three. I can't recall the amount of times I've heard friends tell me about how a client screwed them over by either being extremely disrespectful, underpaying, or completely ghosting them altogether, never offering compensation for hours of work. It's genuinely miserable. And I don't understand why, but so many people have this opinion that modders should never be able to make money, let alone turn their passion into a job, but don't seem to have an issue with game developers being able to, when at the end of the day, they're both about programming games. And ironically, very often, these people are also the same ones that will in turn support the real money-making machines of this ecosystem, clients.
A Minecraft client is a custom launcher with a built-in set of mods. You know this. The first client to gain any sort of notoriety was Cheatbreaker, and it set the blueprint for pretty much every Minecraft client since, complete with a customizable UI, an anti-cheat, and cosmetics. Now, in Cheatbreaker, cosmetics were free, but later clients wouldn't be so generous. Less than a year into Cheatbreaker's existence, it was shut down, cause one of the owners inappropriately interacted with someone under the age of 18. The other owners cut contact and went on to create a new client, one that would go on to be the most well-known in all of Minecraft. Lunar client. They appear to have just reused Cheatbreaker's code with one major difference. It makes a ton of money. They have cosmetics ranging from $5 to $25 a piece and a monthly subscription for some of the client's features. They constantly partner with YouTubers, making them a cape that they promote in exchange for a share of the profits. The founders are literally on Forbes 30 Under 30. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but there is one controversy they'd probably like you to forget. They stole an independent author's mod.
Replay mod, can we just take you?
No, what?
Mods crush your skull.
Ah! I'd like to file a cease and desist against some charlatans who are stealing my work.
How?
Lunar client.
To me, Lunar Client overall isn't a bad company. There are plenty of worse clients I could mention, but that's not what this video is about. Although I'd be happy to make a video on their history if you guys want that. The reason I mention clients is because they, along with platforms like CurseForge, are the ones making money from modding. Most modders can't even make it work as a side hustle. Mojang recently told a mod author to release his paywalled work for free or they'd take action. On top of that, Mojang's last EULA update says you're not allowed to make money from your mods at all. It's never been this bad. Modding is a huge part of what's kept Minecraft around for this long. If everyone just played vanilla, I mean, most people would have quit after a year. The second most popular game of all time, GTA 5, also allows modding, and guess what? It's lasted as long as Minecraft. Clearly there's a common thread here. So let me ask this. Mojang, why can't mod developers make money from their work? Your game developers are paid just fine. Are mod developers less valid? Clients and platforms are perfectly allowed to profit from modders. You don't seem to care about that. With the way Mojang's rules are right now, Minecraft modding may technically be a business, but it's not a very good one. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is a pretty opinionated video, so I'm really interested to see what you think in the comments. Please let me know. Remember to subscribe because I'd really like to hit 100K. It would be so cool. And it gets me one step closer to making this my career, which I would really appreciate. And with that, have a great rest of your day.